Hi everyone, I'm Mike Green, Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office, and we welcome you to this edition of Countyline, the public access TV program that features news and information about Allen County government. You know, in the past several years, Allen County government has taken a great deal of pride in being a leader in using new and innovative technology to better serve our residents. And one of the areas that you may not know a lot about, but you've probably seen a lot of the work, is the IMAP GIS division of county government. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and show you a little bit some of the work that's been done in case you haven't seen it. And with us today is Dave Estes, who is the GIS coordinator for Allen County. And Dave, thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Explain to us a little bit about how long IMAP GIS has been available here in Allen County.
As we know it today, probably within the last 10 years, there's been a mapping function here for probably 20 to 25 years, but that mapping function has evolved and grown into what is now called a Geographic Information Services, and GIS, and we are now able to serve a greater number of departments, the city itself, and the public via the internet today.
Department of Planning Services, where you're currently headquartered and have been headquartered, which is where a lot of the work has taken place, and that's who you've primarily worked for. But kind of give us an idea of what the goal and objectives of IMAP and GIS are.
Well, initially, of course, I think that the GIS function was to try to bring a level of efficiency to government. It's much easier if you are able, for example, to see your house in relation to your property boundaries. If you want to perform an assessment, the assessment, of course, leads to a tax. The taxes then, lead to resources such as ditches that may serve your property for drainage purposes, street widening, sidewalks, government functions that are brought to the home. So GIS allows decision makers to visualize an issue and more easily come to a proper decision.
Historically, Department of Planning Services and some of the, I guess you call them the taxing units within Allen County government, I guess were your first customers, so to speak.
Correct. However, the real function is for the public. And we'll get to, and I'll show you some examples of applications that we've developed that serve the public. For example, being able to pay your tax bill online and see your tax record and pictures of the house and those kinds of things, as well as things like being able to find your polling location from where you live, directions, being able to see the ballot at your polling location for you, those kinds of things, and then also just a general purpose map to assist people to find various different features within the county.
People hear of IMAP and GIS and they may start thinking, oh, like Google Maps or Yahoo Maps or something like that. Yeah, sort of in a way, but a lot more information that you're being able to provide to Allen County.
Well, it is a lot more information. Google's speed and convenience is offered by its simplicity. And we try to also provide a simple solution for the taxpayer so that it's not difficult to use, but we have over 300 different layers or feature classes which we bring to bear, from the type of soil within, whether or not your street is paved or not, your parcel boundary lines, aerial photography. There are many, many layers of data that we bring together, and they're much more precise. So the photography that you see on Google will be maybe 1 meter resolution, and our photography is 6-inch resolution. So there's much more precision there, and we try to build something that is accurate so that folks can do real research here in the county.
If you haven't been to our website, www.allencounty.us, we're going to ask Dave now to kind of give us some examples of how IMAP GIS is able to help you as a county resident learn more about things you need to know about. How about showing us, first of all, if you will, Dave, the PATI site, the property or public access tax information site?
Very well. The site that you want to visit is www.acimap.us, and that will bring you to a menu, and from there you can select the available map viewers that we have. The PATI site, which is your public access tax information site, allows folks to take a look at all of the information that Allen County maintains in regards to their taxes, as well as the ability to actually pay your tax bill online. So if I were to enter my address here, I'll bring up my property and I can see the property. I can see the owner information. I can see all of the tax information and when it was paid. There are a number of tabs here that I can view various different details, so I can see, what the fire department is charging me, what the Allen County is charging in terms of drainage, and what the library is, and et cetera. So there's lots of information here that the taxpayer can peruse through. You can also, just out of curiosity, use your pointer and click on the next door neighbor, and you can pull up their information. So if you, for example, are searching for a new home and you know the general neighborhood and you want to go and see what the tax burden is for a particular home that you may be considering buying, you can enter the address, find that home, and it will bring up all the information of the previous owner.
And people should understand that that is public information, so it's not like we're sneaking in on somebody.
That's correct. All of this is public information. This is the same kind of information that if you came down to the auditor's office that you could acquire there.
Okay, show us the election board now and the new features that IMAP and GIS have been able to provide.
Sure. Again, from the GIS portal, you simply select the Allen County Election Board site, and that site comes up. And again, I'll use my own address. And a map comes up and shows me the home, where that is, and it shows me the polling location and the directions to get there. It gives me the address of where I start, address of where I end. It gives me a sample ballot, and this is kind of important because, of course, every precinct within the city will have a different ballot depending on what school district, et cetera. And so each ballot is unique to the particular voting area that you're inquiring about. It gives you a picture of the polling location so that you have an idea of where you're going before you ever go there. And
it also shows your elected officials in a particular area so that you know who your county commissioner is or your county council person or city council person.
That's correct. There are a series of tabs again, and information in regards to the federal government, state government, county government, city government is all here. And so you can research to find out who your elected officials are and how to contact them.
This has got to be a pretty lengthy process to get all this information put together.
Yes, sir. You're looking at years of accumulated data, and not only years of data, but also we bring together data generated by the federal government, for example, the U.S. Census Bureau. All of the geologic information is provided by the state of Indiana's Geological Society. We bring together IDEM information, transportation information. We generate a tremendous amount of data. So not just years of our effort, but years of many people's effort brought together in one place to serve Allen County.
And I mentioned at the outset how Allen County has worked to use this new technology. The fruits of your labor have been recognized by organizations within the state of Indiana and on a national basis for the progress that we've made in getting this information put together.
Well, that's true. The PATI site that we just saw in 2010 won the Excellence in GIS Award from the state of Indiana. The election board site has won awards from Indiana as well as others. We have some services provided, like for River Watch, that you can have downloaded to your mobile phone, and you can check the river stages. So that has won awards from Microsoft. Allen County itself has won two awards, Special Achievement in GIS awards from ESRI, which is the GIS software provider, and those are international awards. So there's been excellence in the efforts that we have here for a long time.
What's next? What's on the horizon? I mean, how far can we go with this kind of thing?
Well, of course, the technology evolves continuously, and so our goal is to be able to provide more information to the taxpayer, more information to the people who may be considering moving into Allen County for economic development purposes, for growth in business, effectiveness, just finding what schools your kids attend. I mean, so we can go very, very simple to very in depth, and it's all local. It's right here.
And it's not just Allen County government. Obviously, we're the big users of it, but you've also worked with the city of Fort Wayne, and as you mentioned, school districts around us as well to help them out.
Well, everybody contributes and everybody consumes this information, and we've worked together with the schools. East Allen County Schools specifically has a website which we're going to then push out to all the rest of the schools in the coming months that helps folks find out what school their children attend. And the school districts provide information to the homeowner, to the taxpayer, where the bus stops are, what the time schedules are, drop-off points, and all those kinds of things. And we help provide that because we print the maps. The city of Fort Wayne has joined in Allen County, and we are building a data warehouse which provides all of the information, both city and county, in one place. And that is evolving and coming together. So yes, there's efforts throughout all government within Allen County to work together within the field of GIS.
A lot of information out on the Allen County website thanks to IMAP and GIS, and a lot more to come, it sounds like. Dave Estes, thanks a lot for explaining a little bit about the division, and we look forward to seeing what you come up with next.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, the 2012 session of the Indiana General Assembly is underway. There will be, no doubt, a lot of different issues discussed, a lot of legislation considered by the people there, and we thought we'd take some time today to talk to our folks here in Allen County about some of the issues they're going to be keeping an eye on and why they are important to both Allen County government and to you as Allen County citizens. And joining us right now is Commissioner Nelson Peters.
Hey, Mike.
And also Beth Locke, who is the Director of Governmental Affairs in the Commissioner's Office. And Commissioner Peters, let's begin with you. Folks may not understand exactly why county government is so interested in what happens down in Indianapolis and why from time to time they'll even take the steps of lobbying legislators there on certain issues. Kind of explain what the purpose behind that is.
Well, thanks, Mike. I think what we want to do is ensure that our voice is heard. There are a lot of things that come out of county government that affect our constituents here in Allen County, and a lot of those things are pushed down from state government. So we want to make sure that we can play both offense and defense in better articulating our message and serving the citizens of Allen County. The offense is really when we put together an agenda with a number of items on them for consideration, things that we believe will create greater efficiencies in county government. The defensive part many times is developing a game plan so that when things do happen at the General Assembly, we're ready to deal with them and we can act very quickly in either supporting them or rejecting them.
And you talked about putting together your agenda. You even recently shared that agenda with local lawmakers, and you meet with them from time to time, both individually and as groups.
We do. It's absolutely essential to have a relationship with local lawmakers to the state, as well as some of the others throughout the state, so we can make sure that they will help to carry our message to Indianapolis when the General Assembly convenes in January.
Now, Beth, you are responsible for helping to put that agenda together to share with the local lawmakers. Tell us a little bit about the process and what goes into it.
We start in the middle of the summer meeting with County Council to discuss some of the issues that are important to them. A lot of times we recap what may have happened in the last session, if there's any movement and momentum for some of those issues, as well as local issues. I also will meet with different department directors as well as different elected officials throughout the county to see if there's any needs that their offices specifically have. Once I get an idea of what's going on, I develop a platform, which is just a basic general overview of the needs that Allen County needs to look out for or be advocating. once that platform's in place, we take that back to the county council and say, okay, what are your top agenda items? What are the things that are the most important? And once we have looked at those through fiscal impacts or policy decision making, the way it affects county government, then, like you said, we take that to the state legislators.
You talk about getting the agenda together starting almost in the summer before a session starts, and that's, folks may not realize, a lot of legislation is already being filed at that time. A lot of different issues already beginning to be considered and working its way through the system. So those are things you have to help keep up on.
Absolutely. They have like an interim summer study committee, and a lot of times those committees look at potential legislation for the upcoming session. So if you're looking at COLA revenues or something like that, if you have bills moving through that study session or study committees that are going to impact maybe your COLA revenues or just different processes within the county, you've got to make sure that you're having your voice heard during those summer study committees, because that potentially is going to be legislation for the 2012 General Assembly.
Okay, well, let's talk about a few of the issues that Allen County is particularly interested in for this session. And Commissioner Peters, let's start with emergency 911 fees. What is the issue right now as far as Allen County is concerned?
Well, Mike, it's a big issue, and we've been hammering on this for a good part of the last 4 years with the General Assembly. I guess just to underscore our need, it's really to say that we want to ensure that the General Assembly allows us to make local decisions here locally. And it's our fear from a defensive perspective that maybe what will happen is they will try and make more of those decisions for us down in Indianapolis. Right now, as an example, citizens of Allen County are charged 70 cents on landlines, 50 cents on cell phones, and 25 cents on some of the prepaid services that they get. And we have a couple of bills that are going to be coming across the table pretty soon. One is something that's in the neighborhood of $14 to $24 million to upgrade our communications system. And the other is just the day-to-day operation of the 911 center. That costs around $6.5 to $6.9 million per year to operate. And those funds that I talk about really only raise about $2.4 million between the two of them. And what the state study committees and 911 commissions have talked about doing in recent past is taking some of those dollars from each of the communities and then dispersing them from the state level. And it's our fear right now that if that were to happen, what will in essence happen will make Allen County a donor county to some of the other counties, like Hamilton County as an example, who have significant fees on those phones right now. The state wants to equalize the amount of fees that are paid out by each of the counties, and in doing so, we become a donor county, and folks like Hamilton County get a decrease that they can take back to their residents.
So from your perspective, or from Allen County's perspective also, it's that money raised in Allen County through these fees should stay in Allen County and not be doled out to other counties.
That's absolutely correct. And then the second point is that let's let the local officials make the decisions here locally.
Okay. Beth, another big issue that Allen County is looking at deals with reform of criminal sentencing in the state. Tell us a little bit about why that's important to Allen County.
Sure, that was an initiative brought to the General Assembly last year by the governor's office. Essentially what they want to do is just save some money at the state level. We all know that state government, local governments are all, there's a decrease in the revenues that they receive, so they want to, try to find other programs and areas where we can cut down on the cost of that public safety at the state level. The dilemma that Allen County faces and counties across the state face is the DOC looking to return nonviolent Class D felony offenders to the local level. Now, in Allen County, we're very fortunate because we have a lot of alternative sentencing programs in place that the judges use for these first-time offenders or nonviolent offenders. Just to name a few, community corrections, our drug court, our problem-solving court. What happens is if we begin to take on all of these felons and they return to the local level, we essentially have to begin to house them, which is a huge fiscal impact to Allen County. And what we want to do is make sure that we are able to, work with the state to provide some type of solution for this, but not cripple our ability to provide other essential services to the community and the county residents.
So what we're looking for from the state is a more equitable funding structure, or a way for them to provide funds to local government to help cover the cost of some of these programs you talked about.
I think it's twofold. I think our number one position would be, we want to make sure that the state maintains their responsibility to house these, to provide that public safety mechanism. They are there to provide the housing for these offenders. However, if that's pushed back to the counties, there needs to be the correct amount of refunds given to the county. If they're saving money at the state level, that needs to flow back to the counties that are assuming that fiscal liability. So that's the twofold answer to that.
Okay. Let's talk about a few of the other issues that are going to be coming up. One that I know the governor has also mentioned as part of his legislative platform for the coming session is the right to work law.
Right to work is going to be big at the General Assembly this year. The Fort Wayne-Allen County Economic Development Alliance, the Regional Partnership, and a few others here in Allen County have suggested that that is an initiative that they need to get behind. And consequently, we here in Allen County felt that between the commissioners and the council that we ought to support that. So on our legislative agenda, we did indicate a desire to support the Right to Work initiatives. Now, the Right to Work initiatives, for those out there who may not fully understand what's going on, Right to Work, I think, is a little bit of a misnomer when you talk about it. And it simply says that as a condition of employment, an employee can't be required to join a union or pay union dues if he or she elects not to. And so there is a number on the labor side who suggest that that will weaken some of the unions, but the Alliance and the Regional Partnership and the commissioners believe that with site selectors who have come to us and said that we're skipped over between 35 and 50% of the time because we don't have right to work legislation. We thought that if we want to talk jobs in this community, which is what we should be talking about, then we needed to support right to work legislation.
And this is legislation that's been approved in a number of other states.
22 right now, Oklahoma being the last. Yeah, it's not brand new.
And those around us, I think, several around us that have right to work status, and therefore, when you're talking about competition for jobs, they have somewhat of an advantage there.
We need to make sure that we've got every possible advantage when we're trying to procure employers, and we do believe that right to work legislation is one tool in the toolbox that will help bring local companies and jobs to this community.
Beth, another issue that's going to be talked about that Allen County is backing is something called cyclical reassessment process of people's personal and business property. Kind of explain a little bit about what that is and why it's advantageous to Allen County.
Allen County currently has 156,000 parcels, and those parcels have to be reassessed every 5 years. Historically speaking, every time that assessment is done, property tax bills go out late, and that is because our county assessor, and this is statewide, right. I want to make sure that's clear, but our county assessor has to assess these properties, 156,000 parcels, within an 18-month period of time. What we would like to do to have on-time property tax bills and to make sure we have accurate assessments is look at doing a cyclical reassessment, which is basically taking 25% of the property and the parcels within Allen County and focusing on them on an annual basis. So you do the first 25% the first year, second 25% the second year, on down the line. So every 4 years you've assessed every property, but you have accurate assessments, and it's a continual rolling assessment period rather than cramming everything into an 18-month period every 5 years.
You mentioned getting property tax bills out on time. The current system is causing a problem in that area?
Absolutely. Like I said, historically speaking, every county has been late in getting their property tax bills out the year following a general reassessment, because everyone in Indiana is reassessed at the same time. So this, we hope, would make assessments more equitable to the property tax payer, as well as get these bills out on time so that local units of government aren't penalized for for that.
Late bills going out means late money coming back in.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a few other things that may come up at the General Assembly. I mentioned the governor's backing right-to-work legislation, also looking at a statewide smoking ban. What has Allen County's position historically been as far as that's concerned?
Well, we made a move back in 2006, and we limited smoking in parts of Allen County. Where an individual had to be 21 to gain entrance, we exempted a number of those issues. City of Fort Wayne then did something. City of Indianapolis recently did something that was rejected, but now the state legislature has come back with a suggestion that there should be an all-out ban in Indiana. The governor has stepped forward in support of that. Mike, I don't think we're going to do much of anything right now. I think, one, we don't want to cross the state. We want to see what the state does. And I guess it just wouldn't make any sense to do something if indeed the state did something a little bit differently. So we're going to kind of take a wait-and-see attitude at this particular point and see what happens in Indianapolis.
One of the other big issues, local government reform, and there are several subplots to that also.
There really are.
What are we anticipating will take place?
You know, the governor, I think, wants to leave a legacy, and I think part of that legacy really is in completing everything that was on his agenda when he came in 7 years ago. He's been very successful on a number of fronts. One of the areas that I think he's not been able to put that check mark next to has been local government reform. There are a couple of things that I think that he'd still like to see. One is a single county executive in counties instead of the three commissioner board of commissioners. The other is a nepotism policy that precludes nepotism on a number of fronts in municipal and county government. The third, which I don't think he's going to be particularly successful, is with the township trustees. The township trustees have pushed back very hard over the last couple of years. They've got a huge lobbying initiative down in Indianapolis, and I think that the governor's desire to do away with township trustees probably won't happen. Now, it still leaves on the table the opportunity to deal with township boards. But again, I think that a lot of people feel that those township trustees and boards are the closest form of governance to them, and I think there's going to be a lot of pushback from the citizens in the state of Indiana.
2012 is considered a short session of the General Assembly, but it's going to be long on issues, a lot of them that Allen County government is interested in, and it will be interesting to see what transpires in Indianapolis in the next few months. Commissioner Nelson Peters, Beth Locke, thanks for joining us and talking about it, and we look forward to seeing what comes out of Indianapolis this year. Well, from time to time here on County Line, we like to take you to some of the different county government departments here in Allen County so you can learn a little bit more about how they operate and the kind of services that they provide you, the citizens of Allen County. And today we are in the office of Dave Fuller, who is Allen County Building Superintendent and the head of the Building Department for Allen County. And Dave, thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
Pleasure.
Tell us a little bit, I guess in general, about the building department and exactly what it does.
Okay. The building department was established in 1974 as a county department. Prior to that, it had been a city department, and as development expanded outside the city limits, there was a need for increasing that to countywide service. We currently have 15 inspectors in the field, as well as a support staff in the office here of about 8 people. And our department does all the issuing of building permits throughout the entire county. We do all the building inspections for any new construction or remodeling that takes place. We also do minimum housing inspections for complaint-driven activity if somebody feels like they're living in a neighborhood with a home that's not suitable for living conditions for people to be in. And then we also enforce the state's unsafe building law for buildings that are abandoned and dilapidated within the unincorporated areas.
How many inspections would you say your staff does, say, in a year's period?
Right now with the economy, we're a little bit down, but we are doing currently about 30 to 35,000 inspections a year. So that is still keeping our people fairly busy.
Say with 15 inspectors, I imagine that keeps them busy. And that's both industrial, business type of buildings as well as residential.
Correct. That includes all commercial work as well as all residential work.
What kind of permits are we talking about that you issue?
We issue building permits for new structures or remodeling, renovations. We issue permits for things like new roofs, if a homeowner wants to put a new roof on their building or their home. We issue siding permits, plumbing, heating, electrical, non-sanitary permits for gas lines. So it's a full gamut of things that are covered by the Indiana State Building Code.
Now, with 15 inspectors, are these people versed in all of those different areas of permitting, or are they in specific areas?
We actually are specialized with our inspectors. We're in a fortunate position to be able to do that in Allen County because of our size, and there are a lot of jurisdictions that have combination inspectors out of necessity because they can't afford to have multiple people. But we feel like with the 17 state codes that we enforce, it's just too much volume to try to do quality inspections across the board. So we have specialized with people who have plumbing, heating, electrical backgrounds from a contracting standpoint, and then as they've come on with us, they've become specialized in their specific area for codes.
Now, you mentioned that there was at one time a city building department, and then the county's building department was established, and you handle the entirety of Allen County.
That's correct. We are Allen County Department, but we have interlocal agreements with all jurisdictions within the incorporated or unincorporated areas of Allen County.
And while there is no city building department now, there are departments within city government, city of Fort Wayne, specifically government, that you have dealings with and that you work closely with.
Yes, we, particularly with the minimum housing type issues, the property maintenance type issues, we work with neighborhood code enforcement. They also enforce the unsafe building law dealing with abandoned structures. We also work regularly with city utilities and stormwater because they have water taps, sewer taps into buildings, and we do those inspections before we order meters for those services. So we have a lot of dealings with other departments. Planning services, obviously, we have a lot of connection with, and the health department.
And speaking of those, folks may be aware of, and we've talked about it in previous Countyline programs, of the Joint Permitting Oversight Board that was formed earlier in the year, and the work that it is doing, attempting to make the permitting process easier or at least less time-consuming while still in the same vein, not reducing its effectiveness and its ability to protect the citizens of Allen County. Tell us a little bit about the role your department's playing in that.
We, of course, are one of the permitting departments that get involved with every construction project that goes on. Some of the challenges deal particularly with the larger industrial commercial projects of developers coming in and trying to work through the huge number of ordinances and requirements from state and federal government for the different departments that are part of that permitting process. So what this task force is doing is trying to consolidate some of those areas where we have some overlap, trying to coordinate the ordinances in the city and the county so that we don't have two different sets of rules depending on where a developer is wanting to build, and also streamlining some of the processes through technology so that work can be done online by the developers and information is easier to find through a new portal that's being developed.
Let's talk a little bit about the new technology and how it's changed the work your department does. I know each of your inspectors out in the field has a laptop computer with them, and that makes things a lot easier, I'm sure.
It does. We started that process about 10 years ago or 12 years ago, and we had a custom developed program here in the county. And we put computers in the guys' cars, so instead of coming into the office or through radio dispatch getting their assignments each day, everything was downloaded automatically. When a contractor has a permit and wants to get an inspection, he calls it in through an automated line. The computer system downloads it to the inspector's car for that territory, and the inspector picks it up. And it's allowed us to get our inspections done generally within 6 to 12 hours of the time they're called in, and quicker than that in some instances.
So your inspectors really hit the ground running when the workday starts, because they're heading right from home out to their first site.
That's correct. They download what they've got to do to start out the day while they're sitting and drinking their first cup of coffee or whatever they do in the morning, and they're at their first job at their start time.
And this process obviously speeds things up, as we were talking about.
It speeds things up from an information sharing standpoint. It also is tied in with the internet, and it allows the contractors to track their own jobs on the internet themselves from the comfort of their office or their job site trailer without having to make phone calls to us or go out to the job site and look for correction tags or pass-fail tags.
What type of advancements in technology would you like to see that you think would help your department even more in that respect?
As I say, we've been on a system similar to what we've got now for about 10 years. One of the things the permitting committee is looking toward is getting all departments within city and county government that touch the permitting process on that same system. That is going to help tremendously with the communication. We have about 4 or 5 departments in the county on that system already, and we've got 19 total departments that are involved with permitting. So we still need to get about 12 or 14 departments connected to that system. That's going to alleviate a lot of the overlap of staff from different departments dealing with the same issues and help us know what other departments are involved with.
You talked about enforcement of state code. Is this complaint-driven type of enforcement, or do you go out do you have a regular basis of checking different buildings? How does that work?
We do the enforcement for the building department on building permit issued jobs, and contractors are required to have certain inspections at certain points throughout the job. That's all documented through the state building codes and through our policies. And so the contractors know when they need to call something in at what stage in construction. So it's all driven by those calls. The minimum housing issues and the unsafe building issues that we enforce outside of the actual building codes are complaint driven. When citizens see a problem in their neighborhood or in the area, then they can call us and we'll follow up on that.
You don't do regular building inspections?
No, the fire department takes care of annual building inspections once buildings are constructed. Our involvement is until the buildings are completed.
And does that hold true outside the city of Fort Wayne?
That's everywhere. In fact, that's national. That's the process that most jurisdictions have. Building departments rarely get involved with buildings after they're completed and construction is done.
Important to know, because from time to time we get requests for public records, folks asking for records as far as any building code violations, and they direct them to you folks, and they may not understand. You really don't handle those.
No, and we end up directing those people to the fire department if they're looking for annual inspection type information. We have a good history of record keeping back to 1974 for the construction process and what's happened with that, but we don't keep track of anything after the buildings are completed.
So there's a step you can take out, folks. If you need that kind of information, just go directly to the fire department. We have talked to you on a previous program about your relationship with ACCDC, the Allen County Community Development Corporation, but for folks who may not have seen that particular program, kind of give us a thumbnail of exactly what ACCDC is and how you work with them.
Okay. The Allen County Community Development Corporation is a separate quasi-government not-for-profit, and their purpose is to take those properties that are in tax default, go through the tax sale, and are not reclaimed or purchased by somebody else. Those are deeded to the ACCDC, and then our role is to try to sell those properties and get them back on the tax rolls or find a higher, better use for those properties than the current condition.
And where do things stand right now as far as the number of properties you have?
We have about 1,000 or 1,100 properties right now. We had a high during the recession period of about 2,400 properties, so we've sold quite a few. At the height of that recession, we got 1,185 properties in 1 year from the tax sale. Typically, we would get 200 to 300, and we're down to about 400 now. So things are looking better as far as the properties that are going into tax sale.
Well, that's good to hear. Dave, thanks so much for your time and explaining a little bit about the building department and how you folks operate.
My pleasure.
And if you need more information, you can contact the building department if you need to know more about the services they provide, or also if you need more information about the Allen County Community Development Corporation. And before we leave you on this edition of Countyline, we want to show you a new service that's being made available now through the Allen County Public Library, the City of Fort Wayne, and Allen County Government. It's called Video on Demand, and it offers you the opportunity to watch some of the programming that we provide on public access television through your computer at your leisure, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime you'd like to watch. Now, the easiest way to get there is just to go to our website, which is allencounty.us, and we've called it up on the screen. And if you look over to the right-hand side down at the bottom where we have our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook links, there's also a link to Video on Demand. When you click on that, that will bring the service up to you. And as you can see, there are already several different programs that are up and available, videos that you can watch. Fort Wayne City Council, the Allen County Commissioners Meeting, Cable Fund Advisory Board with the city. As I mentioned, also the Allen County Public Library puts up a number of the video offerings that they have on public access television. If you're looking for something specific, say you're wanting just to see some of the county programming that's available, you can click here, go to county, and it will sort the programs for you that the county has put up. If you even want to go deeper into that, you can type a word such as council if you're looking for county council meetings, and there are some of the county council meetings that are up. Normally these go up somewhere 48 to 72 hours after the actual meeting has occurred. So again, if you go to allencounty.us, look for the video on demand link that we have. This offers you the opportunity to watch any of these meetings, again, at your leisure, at home. They are the meetings in full, also any other video offerings that we have, such as our Countyline programs, will be put up in full. You'll be able to scan across to find specific areas in the meeting that you want to look at, but the meetings in their entirety are there. So if you happen to miss it on the public access television, you will have the opportunity to see it online, on your computer, at home, at work, wherever you are, where you have access to the internet. So once again, go to www.allencounty.us, find the video on demand link, click on that, and check out this new service being provided free of charge to you. That does it for this edition of County Line. I'm Mike Green, the Public Information Officer in the Allen County Commissioner's Office. We hope to see you next time on County Line.